Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, September 11, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Wyoming vs Northern Illinois. Sean Chambers completed 57.7% of their passes for 196 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He also rushed for 51 yards in the win. Xavier Valladay led the team with 77 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, while Leighton Eberhardt had 4 receptions for 71 yards. The Northern Illinois coaching staff did not hesitate to leave the offense on the field for a game-deciding 2-point conversion try. Lombardi finished off the upset with a completion to Tyrese Ritchie. Overall, the veteran quarterback was not asked to do much. He only threw 17 passes, completing 11 of them for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Freshman running back Harrison Whaley was the star of the offense, carrying the ball 27 times for 144 yards and a touchdown. Ritchie led the receivers with 2 catches for 64 yards. Senior linebacker Lance DeVoe Jr. had a team-high 12 tackles. My first betting advice is to pick Northern Illinois +7. Northern Illinois scored 22 points in their first game. They threw for 136 yards and rushed for 165 yards in the win. A Wyoming field goal late in the second quarter marked the only other point scored prior to halftime. Montana State held its 7-3 lead going into the final quarter, where Wyoming took a 9-7 lead on a 2-yard touchdown run from Xavier Valladay. The Cowboys failed on a 2-point conversion, and Montana State retook the lead on a field goal. Rocky Lombardi completed 64.7% of his passes for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Harrison Whaley led the team with 144 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, while Tyrese Ritchie had 2 receptions for 64 yards. Wyoming was able to come through with a touchdown drive in the final minute of the contest. Sophomore quarterback Sean Chambers completed 15 of 26 passes for 196 yards. Valladay led the rushing attack with 19 carries for 77 yards. Senior wide receiver Leighton Eberhardt caught 4 passes for 71 yards to lead the receiving corps. Chad Muma led the defense with 11 tackles. Wyoming is seeking its second 2-0 start in the last 3 seasons. Northern Illinois also played well defensively, giving up 21 points in the win. They will need to keep up the defensive effort if they want to win this game. Middle Tennessee State vs Virginia Tech. Blue Raiders quarterback Bailey Hockman had a nice game going 17 for 22 for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Lane caught 4 passes for 91 yards and a touchdown, while CJ Wyndham caught 5 balls for 46 yards and a touchdown, and DJ England Chisholm had 2 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. MTSU only gained 113 yards on the ground, but they held Monmouth to just 88 yards rushing. Middle Tennessee State comes into this game with no injuries. Braxton Burmeister had a solid performance for the Hokies, completing 12 of 19 passes for 169 yards and a score. He also carried the ball 9 times for 42 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Blackshear was his leading target, making 3 receptions for 66 yards. T.R. Turner made 4 catches for 64 yards. My first betting advice is to pick the Virginia Tech at -20.5. Offensively, the Hokies didn't need to do much as the defense was doing all the work. Quarterback Braxton Burmeister was a pedestrian 2 of 19 for 169 yards with a touchdown and an interception. But he also rushed for 42 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Blackshear caught 3 passes for 66 yards, while Tree Turner caught 4 passes for 64 yards, and James Mitchell caught 3 balls for 36 yards and a touchdown. The defense did get beat up though as linebacker Matt Johns. The Middle Tennessee State defense was spectacular, producing 3 sacks and 3 forced fumbles to go along with an interception. That pick came from Teldrick Ross, who returned it 44 yards for a score. The MTS defense allowed 274 total yards of offense to Monmouth, including only 88 on the ground. My second betting advice is to pick under 45.5. Quick reminder, you can get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on our partner sportsbook BetUS after you open an account using our link down below and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES when making your deposit. Rutgers vs Syracuse. Rutgers dominated with 23 first downs and held Temple to just 10 first downs. They had 365 total yards to just 264 for Temple. The defense won this game for Rutgers as they forced 5 turnovers, with 3 recovered fumbles and 2 interceptions. One of the interceptions was a 46-yard pick six by Max Melton. Rutgers also had 3 sacks. Rutgers comes into this game pretty healthy as only defensive back Patrick Renee is listed as questionable with an undisclosed illness. Last week, Sean Tucker rushed for 181 yards, and Tommy DeVito completed 11 of 17 for just 92 yards. This was an ugly game that saw Cuse lead the Bobcats 12-6 at the half. An improved offensive line helped lead the rushing game to 293 yards. DeVito played his first game since injuring his leg last season on October 10 against Duke. When healthy, DeVito has been very efficient, completing 59% of his passes for over 3,500 yards with 27 TDs and 10 picks. He's also been sacked 77 times and has had trouble staying healthy. My first betting advice is to pick Rutgers minus 2.5. Syracuse won it with a dominant rushing attack, running for 283 yards. The big dog was Sean Tucker, who rushed for 181 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Tommy DeVito ran for 49 yards and a touchdown and threw for 92 yards on 11 completions in 17 attempts. Cooper Lutz rushed for 25 yards and a touchdown. Taj Harris caught 6 passes for 29 yards, while Anthony Quealy had 3 catches for 39 yards. Syracuse comes into the Rutgers game with no injuries. The Owls probably hoped that the game would have never been played after they were held to just 261 yards of offense and were gashed on the ground by 220 yards. Rutgers also scored the game's first 26 points and never looked back. Aaron Cruikshank led the Scarlet Knights with 206 all-purpose yards. Rutgers' defense appears to be improved from last season when they allowed 203 yards rushing per game and 32.1 points per game. My second betting advice is to pick under 51.5. Toledo vs Notre Dame. Carter Bradley completed 66.7% of his passes for 183 yards and 1 touchdown. Dequan Finn led the team with 82 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, while Devin Maddox led the team with 91 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. The first thing the Irish must do is to fix a defense that was expected to be the strength of this team. My first betting advice is to pick Toledo plus 17. My second betting advice is to pick over 55.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.